Is my screen visible? All right. So last time I talked about personality lessons from Lord Ram, and this time I'm going to talk about what we can learn from his Anuj, that is his younger brother, Prince Bharat. Prince Bharat was the second eldest brother among the four royal princes of Ayodhya, and it is a sad reality that the character of this noble man is somewhere overlooked and forgotten and lost through the pages of history. But this presentation is going to talk about such qualities of Prince Bharat that we should inculcate and reflect on. Now, before I start my presentation, just to clarify, there are many versions of the Ramayana across India. And the most popular version that we all must have known, especially in Maharashtra, is the one which is portrayed in Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana TV series. I'm sure all must have seen it. But this presentation is going to focus on the character which is described in the original Ramayana written by Rishi Valmiki himself, which is known as the Adbhut Ramayana. So you might find the references or the character description a little bit different or new. With that, let's get started. Leadership. When Lord Ram was sent in exile, that time Queen Kaikeyi had suggested that Bharat become the king of Ayodhya instead of Ram and rule Ayodhya. Now, despite Bharat personally not liking the idea of becoming the king instead of his elder brother, he still agreed and took the responsibility of ruling Ayodhya. Why? Because he knew that in the absence of Ram and retirement of King Dashrath, Ayodhya was left without a responsible and a fair ruler who will take care of the administration of the empire. It could be political, social, and economical situation of Ayodhya. And thus, for the larger picture, he kept aside his emotions and his own opinion because he believed that somebody who could also give the throne back to King Ram after he returned, because he was the rightful heir of Ayodhya. Now, at that moment, at the urgency of the situation where there was no king, he thought rationally and took the decision and took full charge of Ayodhya and became a very efficient ruler. The second thing that I want to highlight is he had independent views. Now, according to Valmiki ji, Lord Ram and Prince Bharat had contrasting views regarding how to have a society, how to create a society. If Lord Ram's Ayodhya was built on discipline and was strict and was knit together with laws, regulations, and rules, and was a masculine society, Bharat's Ayodhya would have been a more flexible, liberal, and free and a feminine society. But this did not mean that Bharat ridiculed Ram or insulted his opinions. Both of them accepted the differences and respected each other's views. The fact that he had independent views itself showed that he had an independent thought process of his own, which meant that he did not blindly follow anybody or listen to anybody just because everybody else was going with it. He had his own eyes, his own ears, and his own brain. And this is a very important quality for a leader, that he should think rationally, analytically, analyze the situation, and have his own thought process regarding something. Employability. Like Lord Ram, Bharat was also a very balanced man. He was not just about brains, neither was he just about muscles and physical strength and power. He struck a perfect balance between the two. And this is how. He was a ruler. He maintained an absence of King Ram, and he was a very efficient and successful ruler. He was a very intelligent man and who applied his intellect in everyday things that to solve problems of everyday problems. Sorry. And he was also very skilled and a fearsome ruler, of warrior. Now, for him, being Kshatriya, born in a royal family, that too, these things were relevant, were important, were necessary for him to inculcate in himself, to make his career, if you may. And because he worked on all of these things and excelled at it, that added a lot of value on his CV, for example. Now, the bottom line here is that in today's times, we too should analyze what skills that are required, one, for your particular career, for your own personal career path, and two, in general, just the skills that you should know for living life or to make your life easier. So here you can see that he left no stone unturned, and that made him the best in business. And we too should similarly work on ourselves, build our employability skills, various skills, and thus that is going to make you the best in business. And quickly coming to interpersonal skills and personality, according to Valmiki ji, Bharat fought along with Ram in the Lankan War, and he was the military chief of his army. Now, one thing about military is, of course, what's important to them is discipline and fitness. But the second thing is good communication. Military is the best example of excellent communication on ground. It is not just about good communication between the person who is issuing orders and the one who is following them, but also between the people who are following the orders, that is the men in army. And even when Bharat was having informal communication with his relatives, he was very sensitive to the people that he was talking with. He was a patient listener, and he respected the behavior or the cultural background of that person. And that made him very approachable, welcoming, and warm. And Bharat indeed is described as a very cheerful, happy, and a warm person in Valmiki's Ramayana. And the rest of the qualities which are stated here, they might seem very overrated. But just because it is overrated does not mean that it is not important. And after all, these qualities are what made Bharat the man that he was. And I'm sure that without these qualities, if we don't inculcate these core qualities in our personality, then having the best employability or leadership or interpersonal skills will have no meaning. Because after all, it's all about how a human is being and not what he is doing. With that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you for your patient listening.